Hello, beautiful peaches. Welcome to the Macros, Metabolism, and Motivation Beautiful Peach Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin, a reverse diet expert, sustainable fat loss nerd, and food freedom lover. After healing my own mind, body, and metabolism from the icky, restrict, binge, food guilt cycles, I became obsessed with helping other women do the same. I spent 6 years getting my bachelor's and master's degrees in all things nutrition, dietetics, and metabolism health, go Clemson Tigers, in order to start a science-backed, never cookie-cutter, always customized online macro and reverse diet coaching business. I have supported over 3,500 incredible women in their journey to endless results, and I am so excited to help you do the same. In this podcast, I will be teaching you how to break up with the yo-yo diet cycles, tips and tricks to heal your metabolism through reverse dieting. I will be giving away my sustainable weight loss secrets, all without you having to give up a single food you love. So if you are ready to rediscover that self-love and truly become the most confident, beautiful peach possible, grab a pen and a piece of paper, bump up your volume just a little, and let's dive right in. And don't forget to snag your completely free high-protein macro cookbook. All you need to do is submit a quality 5-star rate and review on this podcast, then fill out the form in the show notes so I know exactly where to send your cookbook. This will actually also automatically enter you into the weekly macro calculator giveaway. Every week, I give away a copy of my C. Schmidt macro calculator to one lovely, beautiful peach who has left an awesome 5-star rate and review on this podcast. The winner is announced every single week in my email newsletter email list, as well as my Instagram story. You can't miss it. So leave that 5-star rate and review, and I will see you in the episode. What is up, my beautiful peach? Today we are going to be talking about how I have a client. This is a client case study, eating 944 more calories with no more binge eating. And she has actually lost weight. She's now 20 pounds down. And it is a really, really cool story, one that you might relate a lot to. So I wanted to create an entire podcast episode walking through from very start with her, a little bit of her diet history and journey and background to what we actually did, what we implemented when working together, and how she is now eating 944 more calories and 20 pounds down. Our gal Trisket has joined us. If you can hear her little pitter patter in the room and a little click clack of her claws, paws, either or. So without further ado, let's dive into this episode, eating 944 more calories with no more binge eating. This client had over 40 years battling with yo-yo diets, under eating, no progress, and a lot of anxiety around food. She came to me literally saying that she has tried every single diet under the sun, but she had this realization that, in her words too, she said, life is too short to live restricted. And she had the realization that she alone was the only one who could really make this change happen, in the sense of she didn't have the action steps. She felt like she was throwing spaghetti at the wall all the time and not seeing changes happen. But she couldn't just sit around and wish for the changes to happen. She had to take action, okay? So she joined BPM, and I'm going to walk you through really from the very start of her initial intake form to the very end. With every single one of my BPM clients, my coaching clients, I have an initial intake form that you will fill out. I've got a couple other things that you will fill out as well. I am a wildly detail-oriented coach, because I literally, in the 10 plus years I've been coaching, have never had a single client who had the same macros, same metabolism, same journey, same lifestyle, all of those pieces. And also, this is because no two women in the entire world will have those same pieces, okay? So
it is really, really, really important for me to take a deep dive to get more than just the surface level and get in depth in what is going on with you to make sure that we're seeing those changes happen, because it is quite literally my job to get you results. So I'm going to get all of the information. And the cool thing too is in working together, I 110% anticipate more things coming up. So I never have any stress with this intake form of, oh my gosh, is this all the information? No, it is okay when things come up, and they will come up. And the goal of the coaching is to heal from the inside out. So to get you losing weight, to get you healing your metabolism, to get you to that end goal, and also to heal from the inside out. So if there is emotional stress around food, if we have, struggles with our libido, our energy, our sleep-wake cycles, our, all of these different pieces that happen when we have some metabolic damage going on. If you have not listened to my previous episode, I talk all about reverse dieting, metabolic damage that goes on, the basics, the ins and outs of a reverse diet. But the really big thing here is I love to get the client's diet history, okay? And with this particular client, she had over 40 plus years of dieting that we got to unpack together, because you do not have to go through this alone. A lot of times when we're trying to go through something alone, what's going to happen is we feel like we can do it, but you've got the motivation to do it. And that's the big piece. You're like, no, I can do this. I've got the motivation. But then what happens is you realize you don't actually have the correct action steps. You find yourself falling into the trap of Googling things, of going to, saving all these different things on Instagram or TikTok. And you're like, yeah, sure. I can do this on my own. And next thing you know, you're 4 months deep in the research. You are even more stressed. You are even more lost. You have thrown so much spaghetti at the wall that has not stuck. And you're like, well, shoot, that was a waste of 4 months. And then you feel like you're literally back to the beginning. And that's not the way we want to go. So this client had 40 plus years of diet history that we got to unpack, and it was very, very fun, and it was wonderful and healing for her, and so wonderful. I got a very good, solid idea of her current intake. I will 110% figure out a way to pinpoint exactly where your metabolism sits. I am extremely confident with this process. And also, the cool thing is we have weekly macro adjustments. So this actually allows you to have the ability to where macros can be adjusted, fine-tuning things to make sure that you are going in the right direction, which is really neat. I like to get an idea of personal goals and preferences. So for example, if I have somebody who comes to me, this particular client was an example of this, eating lower protein. So for example, she was eating, I think it was around 50 grams of protein. I am not going to immediately jump you to 100 grams, even if that's where we might want to go. I'm not going to do that because that's not realistic for somebody who has literally never eaten that much protein in their life, okay? And this is also why I have my coaching eyes on everything going on, so we can adjust that protein as needed. And as we are going through that reverse diet, getting your intake up, we can very slowly and steady and strategically adjust things as needed, okay? So it really gives me the ability to give a very, very fine-tuned and very personalized approach to your macros, to getting a deep dive and making sure that it's customized to you as an individual. And then on top of that, really making sure I'm taking into account where you are struggling, okay? Because everybody is going to be struggling in different ways. So if you are somebody who really struggles with hitting your macros over the weekend and that all or nothing mentality, that's great for me to know, because we can start digging deeper into that. And I can actually start, hearing about what you are doing over the weekend, and we can start working on that. If you're somebody who really struggles with feeling restricted and feeling, guilt around bad food, and it causes you to have a binge, great. I love to hear this. Like, that's where we're going to be starting. Okay. And a pro tip on this, there is a lot of riffraff on the internet, in the world, in the industry. I talked about this a little bit in my last episode, but it has come up again and again and again. Please be wary of who you're going to work with. If you're going to work with me, great. I am absolutely obsessed with that. I would love to support you. If you're going a different route, that's totally fine too, but please be aware of who you're actually investing yourself in, because there are a lot of like classic MLMs, which are like pyramid schemes, like Nutrisystem, stuff like that, where a coach is a coach who learned from a coach, who learned from a coach, who literally read a PowerPoint and called herself a coach. Okay. And it is a very, 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 very different experience that you will have with one of those types of programs that does not have the qualifications versus someone with my kind of expertise, experience, and knowledge base. And I don't mean this to be like tooting my own horn. I mean this genuinely because I am so sick and tired of seeing coaches out there or having literally these people who are coaches coming to me asking me why their clients aren't getting results. And I'm like, what are you even doing for, like, what is this world? What is this world? Okay. Please be very careful. I had somebody reach out to me yesterday asking me why her client wasn't seeing results. I looked at her bio and I saw it was an MLM and I was like, oh, it just pains me. It's very, very painful. It's very frustrating. I want to like search down that client and be like, come, let me help you. It's hard. It's a very, very tough thing. Okay. And I want you to go into your journey with a great start. Okay. Now I had to put that out there because it has been driving me absolutely bonkers, absolutely freaking bonkers. And it's driving me crazy because okay, we're going to move on from there. Okay. It's about that healing process. We're not doing surface level. We're getting deep. We're healing. This is going to be the last program of your life. Now, that being said, all of that being said, with this particular client, 40 plus years of dieting, we got really, 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 really deep, pinpointed exactly what was going on with her metabolism. She was eating around 50 carbs. It might have been a little bit more, a little bit less, and really, really, really struggling with the diet mentality. So our very big step one here is we actually addressed that low calorie intake and the diet mentality. Okay. So for her, she had done literally every diet under the sun. I actually have a few in my notes here. Keto, Optavia, carnivore, Atkins. She had tried diet pills, the whole 9 yards. Cabbage diet. For some reason, I remember her saying that, but I don't see it here in my notes. And the goal for her was to overall increase her intake, get her to a healthy diet mentality. And we did this through a reverse diet. A slow and a steady reverse diet is the way to go, okay? And the really cool thing about her is that she would come to me. And this is where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like literally obsessed with my clients because I'm literally obsessed with my clients. I'm like, you guys make me so freaking proud. I had somebody who just graduated from BPM. What is today? Today's Friday as I'm recording this. So I guess it was Wednesday. Doesn't even make sense. It must have been Monday. We were talking Wednesday though. Anyway, we were talking about it and I'm like so proud. I am literally so proud of my clients, but this is a different client. She was over 1,000 calories more in her reverse diet. She lost, I think, 32 pounds or something like that. I think her goal was like 25. She had the craziest body recon. Like I am like head over heels. But she mentioned to me that like her kids noticed and she has 2 kids who are, I guess, going to college. I think one is next year, and I think one actually went this year. But she was just saying how much fun it is to spend that quality time with them and to not feel like she is weighing down her family with food and weighing down, eating different food than her family or saying she doesn't want to go out to eat with them. And it's totally changed the entire dynamic of her family. And I'm like, my heart's so full. My heart is so full hearing that. So anyway, besides the point, this client right here, we really, really took a deep dive on her relationship with food. That was one of the big pieces because after decades of dieting, it was a big step to leave behind the all or nothing mentality. And diet mentality is hard to heal from. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat it because it is hard to heal from, and especially when we're trying to go at it alone, but it's not impossible. And it's extremely possible when you have the right support, when you have the right methods, when you have, somebody holding your hand every step of the way and encouraging you, whether that's a coach like me or whether that's like your significant other or somebody going through the journey with you. It gives you the support and the uplifting the uplifting support that you need. And so for her, it was really important for us to work on that relationship with food because what kept happening was when she first started out, this is what she'd really been struggling with, is she would be around bad food. So she feel like she could either not have it, she would throw it out. Okay. So she would dump that bad food. She wouldn't buy it. She would, keep the pantry was the devil, right? Like she she couldn't keep all of these things around her. And what would happen is she would end up in a social setting, whether that was going out with friends or traveling, or even if like her kids brought something home like cookies, they wanted to bake, whatever it may be. And she all of a sudden felt she was in this place of like, oh my gosh, I now have these things that I have not had control over in front of me, and I don't know what to do. The panic sets in, the all or nothing sets in, the frustration sets in, the feelings of, oh my gosh, literally all this hard work to lose 5 pounds, 10 pounds starts to kick in, and I'm now gaining 5 to 10 pounds. All of this is starting to kick in. So when we got to BPM, we started working on these things, and I actually encouraged her to plan the, trips, to plan the dinners out, to bring home the food to bake with her kids, to bring home the pizza to have pizza with her kids and her family, okay? And I actually encouraged her to do these things so we could start to, instead of pushing the problem under the rug, because the rug will eventually come up and all of a sudden all of these triggers are in front of you, we get to actually start working on those things and healing them, because then what's happening is you're no longer in this starting over cycle, this absolute frustration in yourself, this absolute just like tearing your hair out because you literally have, instead of lost 5 pounds, you've gained 5 pounds. And you're now in this place, or she was now in this place, right, where she's actually having consistency. She's eating the food that she enjoys. She's feeling free around food, and she's actually able to start getting that process moving forward. And so that was a really, really big hurdle for us to get through. And she navigated it beautifully. Instead of you will have downs, right? There will be times where you mess up, but I want you to, when you are working with me, because that gives us the opportunity to see where the support needs to come from, where the triggers are happening for you, where the slip ups are happening. So when you come to that situation in the future, you know exactly what to do, and you can do it with ease and confidence, and it becomes second nature. Okay. Such an incredible, it is one of the most rewarding things for me as a coach to watch. Oh my gosh, I do not know what my problem is. I keep getting like emotional over this. It is about that time of the month, but I'm like an emotional person in the first place. I'm like always crying on my podcast. I'm not crying, just like I get emotional because I'm so proud, and I see your worth. And when you show up for that, I'm like, yes, ma'am. I'm like, you are just freaking, it makes me so proud. And so it's really, really, really rewarding and fun for me to watch and to see her joy in life change simply without even getting into the fat loss, without even getting into the reverse diet, without even getting into any of that, simply from the change in her relationship with food was absolutely spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. Then we got into the actual reverse diet part of things, where we are not only getting her intake up, so her energy is going up, her libido is going up, which literally when our libido is going up, when we are in a space where we're not feeling good in our body, our libido is down, it does impact our relationship. It does impact our sex life. It does impact, the way that we are showing up for our significant other. So when you're able to actually have a control over that again, and your body is feeling normal and it's feeling good and it's not feeling off anymore, that shows up in other aspects of your life. And it is so fun to see actual relationships change due to a reverse diet, right? It's such a simple thing that you can do of healing your body that can change so many different aspects of your life, okay? Now, so we've done that reverse diet, and I know there's not a lot to go behind that because a reverse diet is a reverse diet. I've got other episodes. If you listen to the previous episode, I get a little bit more into reverse dieting. I don't want to get too deep into that, but we were able to get 944 calories up by strategically. So I do say calories, right? She's eating 944 more calories, but please, please, please be aware that when actually going through a reverse diet, it is a very, very strategic process. When done properly, you can go 944 calories, right, as the example for this client, without having all of that fat gain happening, okay? But you need to be strategic about it. Way too many people are just adjusting their calories or kind of, willy-nilly going about things, doing 50 to 100 calories. I see that all the time. And they're like, wait, why am I gaining weight? And it's actually because you're just in a calorie surplus. You're not actually doing a reverse diet, okay? She absolutely killed it with her reverse diet. And then we were able to go through a safe fat loss phase after building up that intake. She lost 20 pounds down without dangerously slashing her calories. I should have written this down in my notes. I actually believe she didn't go below, I want to say she didn't go below like, I want to say 1,800 calories. I really want to say 1,800 calories. I could be wrong with that one. But she did not go low. We did not slash. We did it very strategic. And she absolutely nailed it. And then she went into her final reverse diet phase where she maintained the weight loss and she was able to get her intake back up, and she literally is going off. I believe she's going to continue tracking macros for a little while at her maintenance, and then I think she's actually going to go intuitive, which is something that I teach in BPM. So I really wanted to walk through that because I think a lot of people, and I also really want to be clear that this did not happen overnight. Like, this did not happen overnight, and you actually do not want it to happen overnight. I think I'm going to talk about this in a little bit more in my next episode. Actually, stay tuned for the next episode. I'm going to dive a little bit more into this. Let me pull up. What is my beautiful? Yep, I'm going to add this into the next one. So my next episode is, will I gain weight during a reverse diet? I'm going to add some pieces into this because I think it's very important to timelines of a reverse diet. I actually think I have an episode about a timeline on a reverse diet. You can scroll back too. I think I have an episode on that. But it's not an overnight fix and you don't want it to be one. But the thing is, if you're refusing to reverse diet and you're refusing to track your macros, like my Mama Bear Tough Love, and I really don't mean this to be, I mean, it says true, like tough love that I wish somebody had given me a long time ago when I was like so terrified to actually reverse diet. If you're refusing to do it and you're refusing to take the time to do it and you're refusing to track your macros, like, you're going to stay stuck, my sweet gal pal. I refused to do it because I was so absolutely terrified. Maybe I'll do a podcast episode on that as well. But I was so absolutely terrified of weight gain. I was so terrified of the reverse diet itself. But when done properly, you will not see that, that eating more weight gain that people anticipate, because a reverse diet is literally to help you get your intake up without all of that mass fat gain. And I just wish somebody like told me when I was at the very start of learning about reverse dieting, because this was all way before my education. And I spent so long being so scared that I'm like, I literally wasted 2 years of my life being scared. And if I had just like owned up to myself and like did it, I could have been there faster. That being said, everybody goes through their journey, and the timeline that you go through is your own gosh darn timeline. Please don't compare to anybody else's. I am the queen of comparison. So I'm always like, nope. This is my timeline and my timeline only. I don't need to think about anybody else's. So it's a really wonderful experience. And this client, it is a full inside out transformation. It is more than just weight loss. She is binge free. Food does not consume her thoughts 24/7. She is absolutely obsessed with her body. It is so fun to see her. She can travel confidently. She enjoys food and wine, and she's just feeling amazing. So with all this, this is a journey that you can go through as well. These same steps. I am literally always here to help you. I believe when this episode is going live, I think I'm going to have BPM spots, and I think I have something very special about this. So you might have already heard it. I'm going to add a little blurb in the middle of the episode sharing something big. I just need to verify the date, and then I will add the blurb in there. But I appreciate you for listening, to tuning in. I've got some good episodes coming very soon. So stay tuned. I am very excited. If you are excited about BPM, you can send me a DM on Instagram. We can chat. And the details are also down below in the show notes. So stay tuned, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye, my beautiful peach.